What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage here with your boy, the King Coop.
What's up, ladies and
And
gentlemen?
we need to discuss episode 5 of Cloak and Dagger.
Episode 6.
I'm sorry, you're right. Episode 6 of Cloak and Dagger. You're absolutely right. Coop, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about episode 6. What do we have
All right.
here?
Yeah, so Tyrone tries to work with Dwayne to get more information about Detective Connors. And Tandy goes off to pretend to be a Roxxon intern to get close to Mina Hess. It's pretty much what goes
That's
on
the
here so far.
synopsis of the episode is called Funhouse Mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Does that, having watched the episode, does that sound like, I mean, do you feel like the title of the episode, does that mean anything? Funhouse Mirrors?
It almost seems like they were looking through mirrors of lives they probably could have had. Yeah, so I think that's what pretty much the whole definition of the episode was.
Yeah, they seem to explore in this episode. They both seem to be looking to kind of see maybe what it would have been like if things had been different. If for Tandy, if her father was still alive, maybe the kind of relationship that she would have with her father.
Mm-hmm.
And for Ty, if his brother hadn't died, what his life would be like. Maybe he wouldn't have even moved out of the ward. And maybe would have stayed where he was. So yeah, I think it's an interesting title. What do you think overall of the episode?
Sorry, say it again.
What did you think overall of the episode?
Oh, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You start to see the episodes that give you information that you need to pay attention to, things that are getting a lot bigger as the episodes get closer to the final episode. So a lot of information that's starting to make sense, things that you can start piecing together. So
yeah. All right, so let's jump right into it. What's the first thing you want to rap about?
All right, so Tandy being the Roxxon intern. Detective Tandy, Dagger, as I like to call her sometimes.
Sure. Detective. old lion. Never mind.
Detective Dagger. I think she was doing a good job trying to figure out, what Mina was all about. What's her story? What's going on with her father? And I think early on she realized that Mina's genuinely into this stuff. She's all about trying to finish the job of what her father was trying to complete, and and get more information within the company of Roxxon itself. And I think that's why that one moment where Tandy was going to touch her and then she didn't, to see her hopes, because she was like, she's kind of already telling me everything,
I wasn't exactly sure how, when episode 5 ended with Mina doing like the commercial.
Yeah.
After Tandy had touched and saw, and like she had the vision where she was in the water and wiped off Ivan Hess's helmet, his hard hat. Going into the episode, it seemed to me more like she was attempting to use Mina to get more information or dig up more dirt on Roxxon than it seemed to go in the episode, because it didn't really go that direction, and maybe it was going to. But once she realized that Mina's father knew her father and worked closely with him, I think once there was a statement about her father saying that Tandy's father never made a mistake, never made a miscalculation. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And I think that was maybe what kind of changed the direction of what Tandy was attempting to do. So I also think they gave you a really good glimpse into Tandy in a slightly different way. I mean, look, we know that she's sneaky and she's conniving and use what you got and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But
right.
they have that moment where they're walking through the swamp and she starts to talk about the, you know, specific theories. And she's, and you know, Mina's like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know. And when Tandy knows, but she knows because she read Mina's work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shows that she really is as bright as her father is. She's as smart as he is.
Right.
She just kind of maybe uses it for the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And was impressive to her.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She well, yeah, I thought that was a great scene for Tandy to get to know Mina without actually finding out, you know, her using her powers pretty much. But then obviously she asked a little bit too many questions. Mina's like, why you keep asking questions about my father? You know, like
Yeah. She was pushing a little hard. Like,
right.
maybe you should have just touched her, bruh. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, she definitely pushed that maybe a little bit too far. Obviously, because in the long run, you know, Mina knew exactly who she was.
Right.
After spending all the time she did with her. But you know, again, in terms of being able to get a glimpse into just how intelligent Tandy is when they're looking at the map, they go to fix the issue with the pump, and they're trying to figure out what the issue is, why the pump is overheating, and it turns out that it's in the wrong spot, but it's Tandy who figures it out. You know, that's one of those things that again shows that she, you know, she could read blueprints. She read her material and understood it and was able to spit it back to her.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know how much time passed between it, but it couldn't have been but so much time. And then you know, her ability to look at the map and go, well, this is 10 meters in the wrong place. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't where it's supposed to be, kind of a thing. You know, and all of those things, while they were giving us clues to just how intelligent and capable Tandy is, they were also the same clues that were telling Mina, I mean, this is not who she says she
Right.
is.
Mm-hmm. You kind of figured it out, like on that spot, you know, like, you know, your name's Tandy, and you know, so yeah, pretty good detective work, I guess, from
from both of them, really. You know,
then we see the scene where Mia goes to the home where her father is, where Ivan is, and Tandy pretty much uses her powers on Ivan, but it only works halfway when she's in the dream state.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works completely.
Well, yeah, it works.
I mean,
You know,
she
couldn't
gets
get where
in
she
and
wanted
she's
to
able to,
go.
but she couldn't get past the particular barrier,
Right.
which showed that she needed to have Tyrone.
Right. Yeah. So she it worked, but she could only get halfway to where she wanted to go.
Right.
So I thought that was actually really interesting to know that, you know, now they have to work together. I guess in probably more cases in the future, that they would probably both have to, you know, touch the same person to try to get into, you know, to try to finish whatever started. I thought that was really interesting.
I
Um,
would agree with that.
yeah. Moving on from there, Tyrone's girlfriend. Uh, I I'm really a little irritated with the mystery of what's going on, you know, because throughout the whole episode, it's this vague voodoo talk, I guess you can say, of what's happening, and then the only thing we really got from it was, you know, these two people from the past are always together. Something's about to happen, and then she goes, one of them has to die. So out of all that vague talk, I only got like two things that really made sense to me out of that whole situation.
I mean, really, they used those scenes to kind of block in like the ends of the commercials. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is how we intro or end, you know, each segment or whatever. they didn't really answer anything, but that's kind of the whole point, I guess. You know what I mean? You know, it's supposed to be, you know, kind of a cliffhanger. It's supposed to leave you, you know, wondering. All right,
but
all right.
But the aunt Clarissa, at first I thought she was going to be some type of bad guy, but now it seems like she's trying to help Tyrone in some way, shape, or form through the cards, or who knows at this point. To be honest, it could be anything. It's so vague in that.
Well, it's not just that; it's just that she doesn't have, you know, she believes so much in what she does that I don't think that she believes there's anything that can be done to negate what's supposed to happen, because she just believes so wholeheartedly in it that it's not really about her trying to help Ty. I don't even really know what the point is, you know, other than being nosy and just wanting to know that it's coming when you know your belief is there's always two of them, they're always together, and one of them has to not survive. You know what I mean? And like, so unless it ends up being that, you know, I guess because of her relationship, you know, with her niece, that she's like, well, we want Tyrone to be the one that survives. We don't really care about this Tandy girl, you know, or whatever. Like, I mean, that could be what it is. You know what I mean? In the long and short of it.
And then even when she asked her, she was like, "It's your boy," and she was like, "That's not my dude." Yeah, you know, I was like, oh, "Okay, well."
Is that what she said? Did she say it like that? Coop?
She kind of did say it. She kind of indicated like, "I'm not with this dude. Like, it's not my guy." You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, nah. I mean, you know how like you disassociate yourself with somebody once you find out it might not be all right. You know what I mean? Kind of like, well, what you mean? Why I gotta be my boy?
Right.
You know what I mean? What you mean? Nah, that ain't my boy. That's not my dog. I was with him. I've been around him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not my dude though. You know, Auntie's like, Slim, you brought him to the house and gave him the bath. That's your dude. Like that's you gave him the bath. That's your boy. Yeah. So what about Ty's half? Where we at on that?
I wonder if this actually means something. So the setup for what happened with Tyrone, he went back to talk to Dwayne. Was telling him on, you know, I want to work with you. Dwayne kind of like brushed him off a little bit, but then Tyrone saw,
get out of here.
Tyrone saw the kid with the drugs and everything, so he followed him. You know,
right?
You know, Tanner gave him the idea to be the guy. You know, so
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when he ended up getting the thing, I'm going to skip a little bit. When he got the bag, and then the kid that found him, you know, he found him the first time. He was like, "Stay away from me," you know, whatever. Then the second time he touched him, and this kid had like the weirdest fear. Like, I don't know if it means something or not, but I was looking at that like, "Yo, what is this?" Like,
I don't. You know what? It made me wonder, and I'm gonna be real with you because I didn't understand what the heck was happening in my man's fears. I'm wondering whether or not Tyrone maybe has garnered an ability, as opposed to simply seeing what somebody's fear is, maybe projecting fear to them. I because the way that he reacted, I was expecting this. I was expecting Tyrone to touch him, get this vision or whatever, and then be able to say something to the dude like, "Yeah, you know, you're not trying to have such and such happen, you know, or whatever." And dude was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, nah, I ain't trying to have that, you know, or whatever." And he was gonna be able to kind of like, you know, neck slide him out the way, you know, or whatever. Yeah. But instead, it was like when it was over, Slim just looked at him like, "Oh my God, you're the devil," and like ran. You know what I mean? And like, you know, look, here's the thing. They in New Orleans. Maybe dude believes in the voodoo stuff too, or something like that. Maybe he knows something, sees something. Who knows? Slim might show up at Auntie house, you know what I mean? And be Auntie's nephew and be like, "Nah, I seen the devil, Slim on your mantle." You know what I mean? Like it made me. That's probably the worst part of this episode to me, is that they didn't really explain what happened there. Like I'm really kind of lost as far as that's concerned. You know, and I don't, whatever. I mean, he got the bag. I guess that's the point. That he got the bag.
So,
you know what I mean?
when Tyrone went to talk to Dwayne about the bag and everything, he was like, "I know what it is. I told you I'm trying to get down into this and everything." I thought this was going to be a slow process for Tyrone to talk to Dwayne and to have this build up, but it kind of happened fast. He kind of confronted him and he was like, "Oh, you were there that night? You working with Connors?" And I was like, it's getting real like really quick.
Yep. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
so
man, he about to bust Ty right now.
Yeah.
Ty get ready to get shot.
Yeah.
And have to disappear in front of my man. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting that they picked that up pretty quick. And then
we talked about that though. Like they don't have that many episodes left.
Right.
Like you kind of gotta get some things moving. So yeah.
And then Connors and O'Reilly, they went out on a run together. Connors was pretty much talking to the same people that Dwayne was talking to. Told O'Reilly, it was like, "Look, I got a guy in here coming here in 5 minutes," and yeah, it went down that way. I didn't think Dwayne was going to get it, but he got it.
Hey, another listen, I didn't know who was going to get it, but I knew somebody was going to. And if you think about the scenario,
it had to be Dwayne.
Of the 4 people involved, it had to be him. Yeah. Had to be. I mean, could it have been O'Reilly? Sure. It could have been. Maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But,
there was a moment where I was thinking, okay, he's going to shoot. Dwayne's going to shoot her. And then Connors is going to shoot Dwayne. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'll survive, but she'll be shot.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll have saved her life. You owe me one. Whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, nope, none of that. You just get to hear Ty scream like a child.
The biggest yelp.
No!
The biggest yelp.
This is a secret. It's a secret. You're not supposed to be here. Deborah Cox, bro. Nobody's supposed to be here.
He didn't see that coming. It shocked him.
No, I didn't. I didn't see that coming, but okay. But once again, it gave us an opportunity to see Ty's powers in action, saving him without him really trying. Right? I mean, Connors basically had my man dead to rights multiple times. Mm-hmm. And now I'm pretty sure that Connors is pretty sure that whatever drugs he's using from Slim are working really, really well.
Right. Because he had that look. He had that look like, oh, I need to lay off. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I shouldn't have did that. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
But it's funny how, like, Tyrone's powers kind of saved him rather than Tyrone using his powers in that situation.
Yeah, while Tandy seems to be gaining mastery of her abilities, mm-hmm. Ty doesn't seem to have control over his for real at all. You know what I mean? Like, clearly he could be a force to be reckoned with, when he gains control of them. But I think a lot of the difference is Tandy's personality. Use what you got, right? So she's all about, no matter what the situation is, she's all about taking the materials that are in front of her, whatever's right here, using those things to the best of her ability to get what she needs. Mm-hmm. And so she is looking at her abilities less as a curse than Tyrone is. She's looking at them like more of a gift.
Right.
And she's utilizing them. And so she is actively seeking the learning and mastery of her abilities. Where Ty use his powers, not by choice, and he's reluctant to use them. He seems to feel like, it's not right to pry into people's dreams or whatever. And so he tried in the first episode.
He tried in the first episode or two, but after that, it was kind of like, I mean, if they're here, they're here. Yeah.
Yeah, like the even in the situation where he is confronted by the guy who pulled the gun on him, who was like, Slim, you better give me this bag. Mm-hmm. You still have to think in the back of your mind, like, if Tandy hadn't said to him, like, nah, use what you got, maybe dig into him, find out what his fears are. Maybe you can use that against him. He would not have used his powers even in that situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you think about it, if Ty had those powers and he was actively seeking to use them, the kind of badass he could be, the kind of trouble he could get into and not really be able to be, like Slim would be the illest drug dealer on the block. Period. Like, that's a dude who will earn a spooky name. Oh yeah, man, that's the Cloak. You don't want to mess with the Cloak. You know what I mean? Like, he would be like, everybody's scared of him for real, and nobody can shoot him. They can't shoot him. He'd be unstoppable. So I think that his mindset, is actually probably better suited to keeping him out of trouble for the most part, and that their powers are going to be used more to check each other, because again, her needing him in order to deal with Hess is a big deal. She needs him to open that door. She tries to open the door, and it's his powers that are keeping her from opening the door, which isn't really explained.
Right.
But okay. And then her not being able to, after Dwayne gets shot and he ends up with her, and she really feels like, oh, something's going on, what's wrong? And she's really trying to comfort her. It's one of the first moments where they really seem like they might be friends, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she can't even hug him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To comfort him. So it's really kind of interesting, the way that they are those magnets that repel each other.
Right. Yeah, that was
very interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
So I think we covered everything except for what happens next episode.
Well, I mean, I don't listen for whatever's gonna happen in the next episode. I'm excited to see what it means for the two of them to get to get their powers together, I guess. You know what I mean? And see how that progresses again, because being 6 episodes in, going into the 7th episode, technically we only have 4 episodes left, so something's got to give, and it has to give pretty quickly.
Right.
So they always give you the little synopsis at the end of the episode, but it's you don't know. I just think when we I'm expecting big things, but you can't
just
tell.
Don't know you just don't know what to expect. Exactly. Yeah. So
nope. I will say that the show itself, like from episode to episode, right now is doing a pretty good job of like kind of keeping you on your toes.
I would definitely agree with that.
I do want to say this. I feel like the show. I like the show. However, I feel like I would like it better, or that this show would be better served in a binge watch scenario. Like the way the show is structured from episode to episode, the way they structure the cliffhangers or whatever, like it doesn't have that wait a week, find out what's going on to me kind of thing. But it does have that. When an episode ends, if I was watching it on Netflix, when an episode ends and the next episode auto plays, I would absolutely let the next episode auto play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm ready to just watch the whole thing.
Now, that's funny because is that a thing that needs to happen, or is it something that we're just so used to as watching Netflix shows over and over again? Because I understand what you're saying. It does have a binge feel to it, like it should have.
But what I think is that it could be just the DNA of the showrunner having done, like Daredevil and so forth, like the way that the show is built, it just feels like it's built more for binge watching. You know, it there are a lot of shows that when an episode ends, the idea of waiting for the next episode or the way that it's set up when you continue into the next episode kind of seems like it makes more sense. Like there, you know, a show like had great binge watching because, well, it was great television at the time because of the way that every hour episode was set up and the timer was set up.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew exactly what was happening with, you know, as far as where you were in the day. But when it came to binge watching it loses that because it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
The effect's not there. This kind of seems the opposite of that to me, where it just seems like it's built, you know, it's only 10 episodes, so it's like 10 hours. It's more like a long movie, I think, than it feels like a show.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I don't know, it's a little weird, but
it's good show.
It. All right, so why don't we wrap this one up?
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you're tuning in every Monday, 7:30, where you will be able to find out what we thought of each episode the week following the airing of said episode. Make sure you hit the ding-a-ling bell so that you don't miss any time we upload. There's still a little bit of content left, still coming from All-Star Comic-Con. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. There will be content coming from BlurCon in like 2 weeks. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. And with that, we're going to sign off. We are out. Toodles and Lou.